Hey.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? We'd like to welcome you guys to the God-Ordained Union.
Yes.
Yes, we're a singles ministry that's here to assist and and help position singles that are in God's waiting room.
Inspire and motivate and
Yes,
encourage.
yes, we have been married for just under 2 years.
Yep.
So this is not a place if you're coming to look for relationship advice, because we don't give relationship advice.
No, we don't. But we do give singles advice.
Yes.
Because we were in the singles. We was in singles stage for a very long time. Um, I got married at 52, and you were 20 years after your marriage,
Yes.
your first marriage.
Yes.
So we've been single for a long time.
Very long time.
And so to learn more about us, please, first of all, subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
And also go back to our first like 5 videos. There you'll learn more about us, how we met, how Terrence said he knew I was the one, how I said I knew he was the one, how he swept me off my feet, how he's still in love with me. We've been doing this thing for 3 years. And so we've been on YouTube for 3 years. And so our subscribers have grown with us over these before 3 years. Because no. 3 years ago, yes. So they've grown with us and they've seen, our journey thus far.
Evolution.
Yes. And so we're here to encourage you. We also go live every Tuesday evenings at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we speak about everything for personal development before you get married, because that's key. And we do it all from the Word of God. So join us on Tuesday evenings. If you want to learn more about us, go right here to our website. Right there, A God-Ordained Union. There you will, see our family and learn more about us.
Yes.
You can also join our mailing list, and in return, we'll give you some of the prayers that we prayed when we were single.
Yes.
Because we were in the waiting room
for a long time.
A long time.
Absolutely.
Yes. Announcements. Save the date. Saturday, April 13th. I am doing, for the ladies, I'm doing a master class called Single, Saved, and Serving. In my professional life, I am a nonprofit expert. So I am encouraging singles, especially the ladies, while you're in the waiting room, the best thing that you can do is to serve. Use this time to serve your community, serve those people who God has assigned to you, to inspire, to encourage, to help lift up in whatever way possible. So that is the master class. More information coming soon. But be sure to subscribe to our mailing list so you'll find out more information. And tune in again on Tuesday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
All right. I think that's all the announcements. Yeah.
Yep. And for those of you that this may be your first time, we are in a series right now.
Yes.
And what we're recording today is the third topic, the third video of that trilogy.
Yes.
So we encourage you to go watch the other two, because they are awesome. They are very. We do our best to take real life topics and just try to share, break down, and we have fun with it, but we are very informative. So please check out the 2 that we've already done, and this is the third of that trilogy.
Yeah, so the trilogy, the series is called Marriage Proposals.
Yes.
The first one we did was entitled, Should He Include Her in the Engagement Proposal Plans?
Yes.
And then the second...
No, the first one was, should he get her advice on the ring?
Yes, on the wedding ring. Yes, that's the first one.
Yes.
And then the second one is, should he include her on the wedding proposal plans?
Yes.
Ooh. And today, the last one, last part.
This is marriage proposals. What to do if he refuses to set a date?
A wedding date. What
Wow.
happens if he refuses to set a
To
wedding
set
date?
a date.
Well, ladies, I'm gonna tell you this before we get into some points, but I'm gonna tell you this. Be careful of accepting a proposal. Some people are in situations where the proposal can catch you off guard. Like for us, the proposal caught me off guard because, again, if you've heard any of our other videos, we did not set a level that says we're girlfriend and boyfriend. We went from talking to each other to Terrence popping a question. But when he popped the question, I wholeheartedly said yes because I've learned his character over the year and a half prior, over the months prior. So I had learned who he was, and but if he refuses to set a wedding date on the bad scale, it could be something bad.
Yeah.
It could be like he just want to waste your time. He don't want nobody else to have you. But but so if you know his character, if you are seeing red flags through the courtship and you see those red flags, don't feel pressure to accept the engagement. Because you don't know where people coming from. But on the flip side, there are some God-ordained men that are for you that will not be setting a wedding date so fast. Yeah. And before you say deuces, there's some things you have to consider first. Yes. If he refuses to set a wedding date with you.
And we're going to share those things with you right now.
Yes.
Because we don't want you just belling and not understanding why.
Why? Right. You deserve to know.
And understand this. He cared enough about you to propose. You cared enough about him to say yes.
Yes.
Now if you're going into a marriage, the one thing, if we haven't learned anything else, the one thing we learned about marriage is that it's full of compromises.
And personal development.
Yes, and it's full of give and take. It's full of
tug of wars and the give and take.
Yes.
And strongholds. And yes. So this is the first, probably other than waiting for the proposal, if he does not want to set a wedding date, this is part of Corinthians. What is it? First one when he said, "Love is patient, love is kind." Yes. So this is a part of
having
your
grace
development
for each other.
Consideration and
having understanding for each other and
understanding. So
yes.
So baby, if he doesn't want to, set a date, what are some of the things that women should consider of why he doesn't want to set a date?
Well, the one thing I think they should start with is premarital counseling.
Ooh.
To me, I will say this, that has become probably, over all the research that we've been doing on the different topics, I believe that has become one of my favorite premarital things, that if I was going to suggest anything to people, it's like, yeah, you want to go through not only premarital counseling, but you want to go through a good one. You just don't want to go through one to say you went through it. You want to go through a good one.
And you want a counselor or a therapist that shares your same values and beliefs and values. I was telling Terrence that there was a couple that I know, a guy that I know who went, first of all, my former church in Maryland, we had a 9-month premarital class. And so they tell you in the beginning, if the couple is coming in, do not set a wedding date. Don't set a wedding date. And so there was this guy that we knew. He kept going through the premarital class and he couldn't finish it. And he would take a different girl in the next time, and then a different girl. It was like he had taken 3 women in. And needless to say, he ain't married. But it was that intense. And so that's something to consider. You may want to consider, you too. Don't think about just him not setting a date. You don't set a date either. until you go through premarital counseling.
Yeah. One of my favorite phrases is to say, "You don't know what you don't know."
What you
and
don't know.
sometimes
You don't know that person until
like
you live with
marital
them.
counseling will teach you some things that you may not have thought about previously.
Yeah. Yes. So so that's the first thing to consider.
That would be the first thing.
What's another thing to take into consideration if he won't set a date?
I would say his wedding desires. Not everybody want to set a wedding date. I know people that will go to the justice of the peace.
Yeah.
They just always had it in their mind that they would save that money to do something else with, or it just might be they don't want a big wedding, but you just never know.
You just never know. So
you
you
just
got to
never know.
communicate. You got to consider
communicate. Yeah.
what he wants. Consider what he wants. He might not want a big old wedding.
Yeah.
He may not, So yeah, that's something to consider.
Absolutely.
What's the third one?
The third one I would say is living arrangements. There's some things you got to decide.
Yeah.
If y'all, like with us, we was living long distance.
Yes.
We had a long distance relationship. So are you going to relocate for him? Is he going to relocate for you?
Yes.
Or your job's going to allow you to relocate?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was the thing with us, is that because when we first got engaged in December. And I remember that week or the next week, we started talking about dates. And I had said next October. And you thought it was too soon. Because one, I had to, relocate. We had to figure out the plan. It was buying a house. So we had to figure out the whole transition. And, so then you were like, because I wanted a fall wedding. And then you were like, no, I think that's a little too soon. I could have been in my mind like, oh, he's trying to put the wedding date off, or he's trying to delay it. But it wasn't that. And I'm glad, I did not kick, scream, and holler. I really thought I was going to have a fall wedding. But I'm so glad that we compromised and said, okay, we're going to, instead of going out another year after the follow, instead of going almost 2 years out, you said, okay, well, let's do the spring of.
Yeah, we went 16 months out.
We went 16 months out instead of doing 24 months out. So
we had a spring wedding.
Yes.
Rather than a fall wedding.
Yes. And so those are the things that, the living arrangements, like we had to decide, are we gonna, I remember when we decided, okay, that's a video on that. There's a whole video on that. Yeah. When we decided to move together.
Yes.
Before we got married.
Yeah, there's a whole video.
Go watch that video.
You need to watch that.
You have to watch that video. Yeah. Because the engagement was almost called off.
So you definitely need
to go watch that video. So so living arrangements. What's another one?
I would say the next one is probably careers, your job. Like I said, will your job let you relocate, or he might be in running for promotion, and the stop to do the wedding planning might interfere with that momentum he built. So
it could be he could be wanting to change jobs so that he can make more money. It could be something like that. So you got to consider that as well.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
The next one would be there could possibly be some type of legal documentation or something.
Yeah. Say he's, you or him are coming from a different country, and you gotta. We have a son that that moved to another country.
Yeah.
So it could be that you got to get some legalities in place.
Yeah.
It could be an issue where, he found out that she doesn't want to take his last name. It could be a number of legal issues that we had talked about. It could be he may want to wait until open enrollment.
That's a good
one to put her or him on the insurance.
That's a really good one right there. And it's a simple one to explain.
Yes.
But before you know it or before you hear it, that might not even be on your mind.
Yes. So it could be some real legal legalities, legal issues that is can't say legalities that could be where he's has what he's saying, well, okay, wait a minute, let me before we put a date, before we make a date, let me consider this, this stuff, because it could be a thing where he is finished paying. Well, I guess alimony would stop once you, but it could be a number of issues of legal issues where that he wants to make sure that before he sets a date and go into the marriage, that it could be, unfortunately, he found out he no, that would be a run. I was going to say that he's still married, but that wouldn't be it. I mean, you just never know. But it could be a lot of legal issues. It could be something with his credit, on his credit report. It could be a lot of legal issues. He might owe taxes and he want to pay off his taxes first, or he doesn't want to join taxes this year, or this. That's a big one. He does not want to file together or join assets together, right? So you got to consider all of that. The biggest thing is
there are things coming up once you make that commitment that you may not have thought about before you made the commitment, because you've never been married before.
Yep.
So that's huge.
Yeah. What's another one?
I would say family dynamics is another one. You know,
blending your family,
blending the family, how all that's going to work.
He might have found out that after y'all got engaged, your son may be mad, your teenage son, and don't like him, or didn't think that y'all were going to get it. You just never know. It could be the thing where he found out that his mom is ill, or he has to bring his mother to live with him now, and so he's trying to figure out what to do with a parent, or it could be a number of things.
I've heard about situations where both people had a child or children from previous relationships, whether they was married or not. But then the kids didn't know each other that well. And they didn't like the idea of the parents getting married and them not really know who their step brother, sister, or, they didn't know that. So they had an issue. So just blending families, you just never know what you're going to have to work out.
Yeah, because he might be like, well, my daughter right now is 16. Well, let me wait till, even though she lives with her mother, let me just wait till my daughter is, go to college, and then, we can, it could be that as well. It could be a lot of family issues and family dynamic issues that he's thinking about.
In our situation, I didn't want to propose to her until her and my daughter met.
Right.
So that was one of the things I was really excited about, but I was nervous because you just don't know. And, preferably they hit it off, like they've known each other for a long time,
Right.
And so that was an awesome thing, but that was a very big, date for us to know that they was going to meet on this date. And so that was a huge thing for us.
Yeah, you have to consider,
Absolutely.
family dynamics and how that'll play, once you all get married. So it becomes real after you get engaged. It becomes really real, and you start to really think about some real grown-up stuff. And so and what's we got two more to consider. What's the
and here's one that is a big one, I think. He's overwhelmed. Okay, say he proposed and it's something that you have been pushing for a while. So he finally proposes and he feels, okay, I got that weight off my back. I proposed. Now he thinks he can just relax, and he's not even wanting to. He's not wanting to set a date because he's wanting to enjoy the engagement.
That level of the relationship.
Yeah, he just got that stress off of him of when he was going to propose. Now he's want some time to kind of relax and fall into this engagement thing for a while and enjoy it. You just never know.
Yeah, especially if he did it like in a big shebang way and invited people out to the engagement and all of that. Sometimes you just want to give him a minute. Like, give him a minute and let him decompress. I mean, and even if he didn't do it that way, like maybe, because I know for us, like I actually wanted to enjoy the girlfriend boyfriend stage, which again, we did not declare that we were girlfriend and boyfriend. But after we got engaged, I was pleased that we pushed our engagement back, our wedding date back, not our engagement, We pushed our wedding day back because I felt like that was a period where I can be a girlfriend and we can do like, okay, I'm in there now. Now I could like start to let my guard down a little bit and, start to, be more vulnerable. So yeah, he could feel very overwhelming. He just said, because he could have been nervous for months and months and he finally got the engagement out. She said yes. He wants to maybe enjoy that level of the relationship. Yeah,
absolutely.
And what's the last one?
The last one is maybe he just wants to enjoy the engagement before adding more tension of the wedding planning.
Yes.
Because that's very, very nerve wracking and
nerve wracking.
It's a lot of people get a lot of stress and tension during that planning stage, and maybe he's just fearing going right back into that once he just got rid of that stress from the engagement. It's like, okay, let me put some distance in between this.
Yeah, which goes into, that was part of 7 as well, when you're feeling overwhelmed. So it goes into number 8 where it just says, let me just take a break for a moment.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, so those were the 8 things to consider. But at the end of the day, it's a possibility that he may have a change of heart. And
that would just be heartbreaking.
It will. But I think I could still say it could be a remedy to it. You gotta communicate.
Yeah.
And you've got to be considerate in the approach and to understand what he's feeling, what he's saying, why he's saying it, and really ask him, can our relationship be saved? And what can you do different, or what can the both of you do differently? And which goes back to number 1, premarital counseling. Relationships aren't easy, like going into marriage, from dating to engagement to marriage. It's not easy, as you said. It's a lot of what you said. It's a lot of what did you say?
Yeah, it's a lot of negotiating.
It's
a lot of compromising.
Yeah,
I heard a guy say today. I was just happened to be listening to a video where a guy was talking about how, we could be with anybody if everything is perfect. If you happen to get with a person that never does anything that goes against your values or against your opinions or against your decisions, then we all could be with anybody.
Somebody's paying for that, though.
None of us are perfect, which means there are going to be times when you two disagree. So you have to understand, going into a relationship, that's hard. That's hard work.
It's hard work. It's a lot of personal development.
I like what you say. Yeah, it's the best personal development program
ever. Yes,
that's ever been invented. It's getting married to someone.
Yep, it's some good personal development. And if you want it, if you want the relationship, you've got to be able to face those ugly parts of you.
Yes.
And be willing to
work on yourself.
Yes, because that's what it is. And so if he proposes and then he doesn't want to set a date, and you're considering all these other things and he's not talking, and it's just, it is definitely, he's feeling some type of way. It doesn't have to be where he wants to pull out, but give him a moment, give him time, and don't put a clock on it. Give him time. The best thing you can do is give him space, not the space where it's passive aggressive. Well, and you put up a wall and you just shut him out because he shut you out. No, that's the time to really show compassion and understanding and consideration if you really want this relationship. And that's the time to really dig in and say, let me give this man this. I'm here, but I'm gonna give you all the time. I'm not going anywhere. And if you saw something in me that led you to propose marriage, then I'm gonna prove to you that what you saw is correct. And so
yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
That's it in a nutshell.
Don't just bail out, or don't just kick and scream, and don't just take it matters in your own hand that he's not, you know, setting a wedding date, or he doesn't want to set a wedding date. There's a reason.
Yeah, if he proposed, speaking from a guy, if we propose, and this is just my opinion, but if we propose, then we want to spend time with you. We want to be with you. Mm-hmm. So if something is preventing us from setting a date, in our minds,
and we're talking about good men,
in our minds, there's a good reason. Maybe we haven't explained the reason to you yet, but in our minds, there is a good reason. And once we explain it to you, sit us down, have us to explain it to you, and then you can help me or help him go through the pros and cons of saying, I agree with this for these reasons, I disagree with this for these reasons, and together you guys work that out.
Yes.
And that's what being in a relationship is all about.
And sometimes you ain't gonna get what you want.
True that.
Sometimes maybe he really feels strongly that he wants you to have his last name, and he doesn't want it to be hyphenated.
And you just never know.
You just never know.
You just never know.
But you got to be willing and open to communicate, and willing and open to compromise.
And here's something to consider too. If you guys grew up in different backgrounds, then something that might be a big issue for one of you might not even be an issue at all for the other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just because you grew up differently. Mm-hmm. You know, not saying one's from the South or one is from the North or something. I'm just saying one of you might have grown up where things were a little tight and the other one didn't. Mm-hmm. You know, so what you might have never had an issue with, the other person may have been struggling for a while. So there's some things to consider that's in their head that might not be in yours. Yes. That's where that conversation come in handy to say, you know, yeah, let's just talk.
Let's just talk about it. Yeah.
So with that said, yes, you know, we hope this has been eye-opening.
Yeah.
We hope it triggers some thought patterns and, you know, at least get you to thinking. And open you up to some possibilities of what you might need to look into before you even propose or be proposed to.
Yeah, and it's coming, and so it can come.
Yes.
You could not be dating somebody, whoever we're talking to right now. That person, let me look at it in the camera. You could be single this week, and by the end of the month, you can meet someone. And he could be God ordained. He could be the one. And this time next month, he can propose marriage. Or it could be even sooner than that.
This is Valentine's month.
See? So, love month. All things are possible. God ordains marriage, and he is for us coming together and fulfilling his purpose together as one. So all things are possible. We just want you to be prepared so that you won't sabotage that good thing, leaning on your own understanding.
Yes.
All right. So,
so all right, you baby. Guys enjoy the rest of your evening or your day, depending on the time that you're watching this.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday night.
Yes. And don't forget to subscribe. All right. And share our videos too. Yes. Share this. All right. Oh, one more thing. Follow us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Terrence and Jill. TERENCEAND Jill. Terrence and Jill. Yes. All right. With that being said, I'll put the link at the bottom. With that being said, deuces.